Hi everyone, my name is Adenike. In this tutorial today I'm going to show you how to cut and sew this beautiful dress showing on the screen. I'll go ahead and draft my dress first before moving on to the fabric. Here is the paper I'm making use of. It's folded into two because I'm going to draft the front and the back together, as you can see, folded into two. So I'm starting my drafting by reeling out my starting point, which is also my shoulder line. Now from the center front and center back here, I'm going to measure out half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. So from there I'm going to measure out the length of my sleeve, which is 12 inches minus 2 inches. That 2 inches I'm going to use it to cut satin fabric out that I'm adding to the edge of my sleeve at the end of the day. So from the center front and the center back, I'm going to measure out 3 inches for my neck width. And from here I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch for my shoulder slope and connect. So after connecting, from here I'm going to measure out half of my round armhole for my sleeve opening and add 1 inch seam allowance to it. What I have here altogether from the shoulder, I'm going to repeat it here on the center front and the center back, just for me to have accurate measurement. So I'm going to connect it straight with dotted line. And after that I'm going to measure out the full length of my dress from my shoulder line. The full length of my dress is 43 inches. I'm measuring out 40 inches for the fabric, while I'm going to use the remaining 3 inches to cut out the satin fabric, since I'm adding satin fabric at the bottom of my dress. I'm going to connect like so. Now after connecting, on the bottom of my dress here, I'm going to place 1/4 of my hip plus 4 inches extra to it for ease, which is here. So I'm going to continue doing that till I reach the upper part here and connect. Now I'll go ahead and extend this line for my sleeve. After extending it, what I have here on my shoulder line all together, I'm going to repeat it here, which is 18 inches, and mark it. And after marking, I'm going to connect it like so. So now this is my sleeve opening. So I'll go ahead and measure 1 inch for my neck depth. After measuring it, I'm going to connect it with the curved side of my ruler, just like this. As for my front neck depth, I'm going to measure 7 inches. Now go ahead and connect it with the slight curve of my ruler, just like this. Here I'm going to curve it a bit to avoid sharp edge on the armpit. Now go ahead and cut my back part first before moving on to the front part. So after cutting, this is what I have. So this is my back part, as you can see. I'm going to put it aside for me to draft out facing for the front part. From my neckline here, I'm going to come out by 3 inches. From my center front here on my neck depth line, I'm going to come out by 4 inches, which is here. And the length of my facing is going to be 19 inches. To get yours, just add 2 inches to your waistline and you are good to go. So I'm going to mark it out now. I'm going to draw a straight line. So this is where my facing is going to reach from my shoulder line. So from this line now, I'm going to come up by 5 inches. And I'm going to roll it out as well. Please ignore this dotted line. Ignore it. So I have 3 inches on my shoulder line and I have 4 inches here on my neck depth line. So I'll go ahead and connect it like so with my free hand. Just watch what I'm doing. and on this line I'm going to come out by 5 inches. After doing so, I'll go ahead and use the slight curve of my ruler to connect it like so. Just watch what I'm doing. So now after connecting, I'll just use the straight side of my ruler to connect from here to here, just like this. So this is my facing now. So I'll go ahead and cut out my neckline for me to cut out my front part before cutting the facing. And here is the Ankara fabric that I'm using for it. It's one of the African print. I'll go ahead and fold it, place my pattern and cut it out. I'm done cutting, as you can see. This is my back part. I folded it into two and I added ½ inch on my shoulder line and on my sleeve here. So on the side I added 1 inch, and on the bottom here I added ½ inch seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and remove my paper now for you to see how it looks like. After removing my paper, this is what I have for the back part, as you can see. I'm just trying to fish out the wrong side before moving on to the sewing part. So this is the right side of the fabric, as you can see, the right side of my back part, and this is the lining for it. This is my front part, as you can see. I added ½ inch on the shoulder line. On the edge of my sleeve I added ½ inch as well for seam allowance. On the side I added 1 inch, and on the bottom I added ½ inch seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and remove my paper for me to cut out the facing for the front part. Now this is my pattern for the front part. I'll go ahead and cut out my facing, and after cutting, this is what I have. And here is the satin fabric that I'm using for the facing. So I'll go ahead and fold it into two, place my facing underneath and cut it out. I'm done cutting, as you can see. I added ½ inch all through it for seam allowance. Let me open it for you to see how it look like. So can you see how beautiful it look like? So I'll go ahead and add interfacing to it. I'm done gumming interfacing to it, as you can see. So I left ½ inch all through it, and I've folded it already. Iron it out, but before ironing, make sure you notch it all round. All the curvy area, make sure you notch it before ironing it to make it easier while sewing. I've cut my lining as well, as you can see. This is the back part. Here is the wrong side of the back part, and this is the right side. I'll go ahead and place my lining on the right side of the back part. Just like this. And I'm going to stitch it on the neckline with ½ inch. I'm stitching both sides as well with ½ inch. From here, just follow the shape till the down part. I'm doing the same thing on the second side. This is my front part. I'm going to open it up. Open it up to the right side. Here is the wrong side. I'm going to open it up to the right side like so. Place my lining on it and stitch both sides with ½ inch. I'm leaving my neckline like this without stitching. So I'll move ahead to the side, stitch it with ½ inch from the edge of my sleeve here till the down part. I'm doing the same thing on the second side. Now I'm done stitching my lining to the fabric, as you can see. This is the back part. I'll go ahead and notch all the curvy area to make it relax on the right side. I'm going to notch the back neckline as well before turning it to the right side and give it a good press. Here is the front part. I've stitched the lining to the fabric as well. Remember, I did not stitch the neckline. So this side On the curvy side, I'm going to notch it a bit. I'm notching the second side before turning it to the right side and give it a good press. So here is it on the right side. After giving it a good press, I'm going to top stitch on the neckline, just like this. And after top stitching, let me use pen to hold it for you guys to understand. So after top stitching, I'm going to turn it to the wrong side like so. And I'm going to take my facing, place the right side of my facing on the wrong side of my dress like this, and stitch the neckline with 1/2 inch. Now I'm done stitching my facing to the breast, as you can see on the neckline. So I'll go ahead and notch the neckline. After notching, I'm going to turn it like this, turn my facing to the right side of the dress and give it a good press. After giving it a good press, I'm going to top stitch all the edges of my facing. After top stitching on the edges of my facing, I'm going to place my back on the front for me to stitch it on the shoulder. I'm going to open up my back shoulder like this, put in my front shoulder, just let the seam align and turn it like this and stitch it with 1/2 inch. So I'm doing the same thing on the second shoulder. I'm done joining the two shoulders. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. Here is the wrong side and this is the right side of it. Can you see the facing too? I've top stitched it on the edges. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. I've joined my pocket too on both sides. While cutting this pocket, my camera went off, but I'm going to explain how I got this for you. Assuming this is the fabric I'm using for the pocket, I'll just fold it into two like so. Can you see that? I'm needing 4 pieces for my pocket, so I'm going to fold it again into 2, making 4 folds. So I will now measure 12 inches here for the length of my pocket. You can make it 12 by 9 or 10 inches. So I'm going to place my palm like this and draw it out, shape my pocket out like so. Having done that, I'm going to leave about 8 inches here, 7 inches for the opening of my pocket, and that 1 inch is for seam allowance on both sides here. And make sure you slant the opening of the pocket like so before cutting it out. Now to fix the pocket, place your dress like this, spread it out like this, and from the shoulder measure 18 inches, which is here, as you can see, 18 inches. And from this line of 18 inches, you come down by 7 inches, which is the pocket opening. And remember, there is 1/2 inch here for seam allowance on both sides. There is 1/2 inch here on both sides of the pocket, as you can see. So after that, here is the wrong side of my pocket. This is the right side. You place it like this. Let the right side of the pocket face the right side of the dress and stitch with 1/2 inch. I did the same thing here on the back part as well. I did the same thing on both sides of the back part. So after fixing the pocket, I will now fix my band on the sleeve edge and on the bottom of my dress. This band is for the sleeve. As you can see, I have 2 pieces here, and the length of it is 5 inches. And I've already gummed the interfacing to it, left 1/2 inch seam allowance on both sides. As you can see, if I fold it into 2, it will give me 2.5 inches. You know, I said I'm adding 2 inches band to my sleeve edge, and the width I have here is what I have on the band. So I'll go ahead and place it on my sleeve edge like this, and I'm going to stitch with 1/2 inch from here to here. I'm doing the same thing on the second sleeve, and this is for the bottom part. As you can see, the band for the bottom part. I have 3.5 inches here on fold. If I open it up, it will give me 7 inches, 1/2 inch on both sides. As you can see, I've gum interfacing to it as well. so it's 3.5 inches on fold. So the width I have here on the bottom part of my dress is what I have on the band from here to here, as you can see. And I have two pieces, one for the back and one for the front part. So I'll go ahead and place it on the bottom part of my dress like so, and stitch with 1/2 inch from here, from this edge to this edge. So I'm doing the same thing on the back part. I'm done fixing my band, as you can see. Here is the sleeve. So what I'm going to do now is to fold it like so. Let the right side, let the back be on the front part like this. Let it align on each other like so. Let it align very well. Now go ahead and stitch from here with 1 inch through the pocket with 1/2 inch till I reach the bottom part with 1 inch. I'm doing the same thing on the second part of it. I'm done stitching, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and turn it to the right side for you guys to see. Look how neat and beautiful it is on the right side. So I'll go ahead and give it a good press. After giving it a good press, I'm going to fix my covered button on the front part like so. So I'm done fixing my covered button, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and fix this. I don't really know the name of this thing on the last button like this. And I'll go ahead and show you the finishing look of it on the mannequin. Here is it on the mannequin, as you can see. It's very nice and beautiful. If this video is helpful to you guys, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to support my channel. If you have any question pertaining to cutting and sewing, you can join me on my Facebook group, Details to Sewing, created by Akorede Adenike. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Akorede Adenike. Please show some love by liking and following my page on Facebook at Aniki Culture. Till I see you in my next video guys, stay safe, stay blessed, bye.